Hello, my name is LJ and I'm back for another reading vlog. Today I was going to talk about my November TBR, or To Be Read list. I've never done one of these before in my life, so this is really new. Normally I just pick a book and I just say, this looks okay, I'll read this one. I've got a bookshelf full of books that I need to read. I've got a Kindle full of 300 books that I need to read, so maybe this might motivate me to read some of the books I've actually got. The first book on my list is Waypoints, My Scottish Journey by Sam Heughan, who you might know from a small production called Outlander. There we go. Make sure you can see the whole shot. I received this book as a result of buying a ticket on lovemybooks.com, I think it was called, for a book talk that he did on Monday the 24th of October. And I just want to point out that whilst this is a very new book and I'm really thrilled about it, I know I said I hate hardbacks, so this is a bit weird for me to show you, but it is... Oh. Bashing my remote, not my remote, bashing my mic. It is signed, so that's really exciting for me. Make sure you can see it. I really love Fane. I really love the book talks they do. I've done 2 now. It was a really great show. I really loved it. He was so funny and his voice is just amazing. And he did a rendition of Romeo and Juliet and I genuinely got chills down my spine. And felt like I was going to get a bit hot and bothered, if you know what I mean. Waypoints, My Scottish Journey. The nearly 100-mile walk itself is the backdrop for this narrative, which tells the story of Sam's life while exploring his outlook, values and interests. Sam is a figure of fascinating contrasts, a Hollywood star with deep roots in Scotland. He's both outgoing and content in his own company. He has strong connections with his fans, while recognising the fragility and value of anonymity. And in his global health community, My Peak Challenge, he has created a network that brings people together as they chase individual goals. In his new book, while charting a path through a stunning wilderness, Sam maps out the moments that shaped his views on dreams, ambition, family, friendships, love, and life. In his intimate journey of self-discovery, Sam Heughan sets out along Scotland's rugged West Highland Way to explore his heritage and reflect on the personal waypoints that define him. The result is a love letter to the wild Scottish landscape that means so much to Sam, full of charming, funny, wise and searching insights into the world through his eyes. I'm really excited to read this one. It's not that long. It's really skinny. How many pages is this? It's tiny. It's 270 pages long. So this shouldn't take me too long. I'm really excited to read it. And so I'll be sharing my thoughts about that one when I finished it. Pandora. One that my lovely husband bought me on our anniversary weekend in April. I was really excited to get this one. It's been on my to read list for a while, but I'm going to tackle it this month. So I'm really excited about this. Pardon? Yeah, it's another hardback. Stop making jokes. Pandora is by Susan Stokes-Chapman. And I don't think this one is signed. I might be spoiling myself to have signed books. No, this one isn't signed. It's just a hardback. Very out of character for me. I'm sensing a theme now. London, 1799. Dora Blake is an aspiring jewellery artist who lives with her uncle in what used to be her parents' famed shop of antiquities. When a mysterious Greek vase is delivered, Dora is intrigued by her uncle's suspicious behaviour and enlists the help of Edward Lawrence, a young antiquarian scholar. Edward sees the ancient vase as a key to unlocking his academic future. Dora sees this as a chance to restore the shop to its former glory and to escape her nefarious uncle. But what Edward discovers about the vase has Dora questioning everything she has believed about her life, her family, and the world as she knows it. As Dora uncovers the truth, she starts to realise that some mysteries are buried and some doors are locked for a reason. So that sounds very exciting. I mean, it ticks a lot of boxes for me. Greek mythology, retellings, making things a bit different. It's got good reviews on Goodreads. I've heard good things about it, so I'm really excited to read that one, and I think it'll be really enjoyable. I should just have to suck in the pain and misery of reading from a hardback novel and cope with it, I suppose. The last real-life book on my to-read pile is Lost Acre by Andrew Caldecott. I may be mispronouncing that. I believe that's how his name is said. Andrew Caldecott. This is the third instalment of the Rothweird trilogy, and I've enjoyed the first two, which is Rothweird and Wintertide. I highly recommend you check them out if you enjoy books that are very odd, have tons of characters, weird writing, confusing aspects, and strange but humorous characters. Highly recommend it. It's quite dry. It has very English humour to it. And so I'm looking forward to this third instalment. I will read you the write-up for it so you have a general idea of what it's about, but it won't make any sense, I should imagine, if you haven't read the first two. So if you haven't read them, check them out. And if you have read them, I would love to hear your thoughts about the first two. Please don't give me any spoilers for the third one just yet. But when I've read it, we can share some thoughts together. Geryon Winter, the brilliant Elizabethan mystic, has achieved resurrection and returned to the present-day Rotherweird. But after the chaos of Election Day, how can a stranger from another time wrest control? And for what fell purpose is Winter back? His dark conspiracy reaches its climax in this unique corner of England, where the study of history is forbidden, and neither friend nor foe are quite what they seem. The stakes could not be higher, for at the end game, not only Rotherweird is under threat, the future of mankind itself hangs in the balance. Very excited to read the last one. It's been on my list. I've read the first two this year, so it was... I'm really bad at this, but I don't like reading trilogies or books and sequels all in one go. I like to have a break and then pick up the next one. So I've had a break. It's time for this one to be on my to-be-read pile. So the next few books I'm going to talk about are all on my Kindle, so you'll have to forgive me. I'll have to put pictures up. I'm still working out how you do that, so it might look a bit shit, so just bear with me. The next book I'd like to talk about is Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth Nix. I am a massive fan of Garth Nix. I've read most of his books. This one has been one I haven't read yet, so I'm really excited to read this one. I've actually met Garth Nix in person, and he is lovely. And I reread the Poston trilogy and its accompanying books, Clariel and The Golden Hand, all the time. When I say all the time, I mean periodically, every couple of years or so. In a slightly alternate London in 1983, Susan Arkshaw is looking for her father, a man she has never met. Crime boss Frank Thringley might be able to help her, but Susan doesn't get time to ask Frank any questions before he is turned to dust by the prick of a silver hat pin in the hands of the outrageously attractive Merlin. Merlin is a young left-handed bookseller, one of the fighting ones, who, with the right-handed booksellers, the intellectual ones, are an extended family of magical beings who police the mythic and legendary old world when it intrudes on the modern world in addition to running several bookshops. Susan's search for her father begins with her mother's possibly misremembered or misspelt surnames, a reading room ticket, and a silver cigarette case engraved with something that might be a coat of arms. Merlin has a quest of his own to find the old world entity who used ordinary criminals to kill his mother. As he and his sister, the right-handed bookseller Vivian, tread in the path of a botched or covered-up police investigation from years past, they find this quest strangely overlaps with Susan's. Who or what was her father? Susan, Merlin and Vivian must find out as the old world erupts dangerously into the new. Doesn't that sound exciting? This would be the second book I have read this year that has an alternate 80s. I am hoping it is much better than the last one I read, which, whilst wasn't terrible, was weird. So it was called Machines Like Me by Ian McEwan. So if you are interested in what I thought of that one, I have it on my Goodreads and my Story Graph as a review. So if you want to see, check it out. The next book on my to be read list this month is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Another new buy, which my husband will be very unhappy to hear about, but it was highly recommended on TikTok. And I am a sucker for TikTok recommendations at the moment, so I'm going to give this one a whirl. Florence Day is the ghostwriter for one of the most prolific romance authors in the industry, and she has a problem. After a terrible breakup, she no longer believes in love. It's as good as dead. When her new editor, a too handsome mountain of a man, won't give her an extension for her book deadline, Florence prepares to kiss her career goodbye. But then she gets a phone call she never wanted to receive, and she must return home for the first time in a decade to help her family bury her beloved father. For 10 years, she's run from the town that never understood her, and even though she misses the sound of a warm southern night and her eccentric, loving family and their funeral parlour, she can't bring herself to stay. Even with her father gone, it feels like nothing in this town has changed, and she hates it. Until she finds a ghost standing at the funeral parlour's front door, just as broad and infuriatingly handsome as ever, and just as confused about why he's there as she is. Romance is certainly dead, but so is her new editor, and his unfinished business will have her second-guessing everything she's ever known about love stories. Very excited to read this one. It will fill my I need romance in my life tick box for this month. Last month I read Set on You, and no, it wasn't last month, it was this month. I'm getting confused about time, which I really, really enjoyed. This is another book that is on my list, so I'm going to give that a go this month. My next two books I'm going to talk about are ones that I have had on my Kindle for a really long time. And as I mentioned, I'm trying really hard to get through books that I need to read and have purchased already. They've made the cut. Finally, I think I actually bought The Giver by Lois, Lowry, which is the next book I'm going to talk about 4 years ago. So that's not really a good reflection on me at all, is it? I know that it is a well-known and beloved book, and I know it was written a few years ago, but I don't really know that much more about it other than it was on sale on Kindle one day for 99p, so I bought it. The Giver by Lois Lowry. The haunting story centres on 12-year-old Jonas, who lives in a seemingly ideal, if colourless world of conformity and contentment. Not until he is given his life assignment as the receiver of memory does he begin to understand the dark, complex secrets behind his fragile community. Now, I've heard many people praise this book, but then I was on Instagram last week and I saw a post from another Instagram blogger, a Bookstagram person, I think that was what they're called, and they said that they were disappointed by the series. So I'm going to give this one a go, just to get it off of my to be read list, with no aspirations to buy any further ones, because I'm skeptical. I'm not going to lie. It's not very long, so again, it should be ticked off fairly quickly. So I'm excited about getting it out of my Kindle to be read list, basically. And the last book I'm going to talk about is The Territory by Sarah Govett. Again, this was on a list that I saw in The Guardian a few years ago, and it must be a few years ago because I remember being at my previous job, and I left that job in 2018. So it's been on my Kindle for a long time. And it really needs to go again. So I'm going to give this one a go this month and get it gone. I know it's 200 pages. It shouldn't take me too long. This is what it's about. The year is 2059. I'm sensing a real science fiction theme this month. The year is 2059. Noah Blake is just a normal 15-year-old, except in the territory, normal isn't normal. The richest children can download information and bypass the need to study. In a flooded world of dwindling resources, Noah and the other norms have their work cut out to compete. And competing is everything. Anybody who fails the TAA exam at 15 will be shipped off to the disease-ridden wetlands, to a life of misery if not certain death. But how to focus when your heart is being torn in two directions at once? I think it's a YA. So I may hate it because I have gone off YA recently. So I bought this when I was into YA. I don't know how this is going to go. I might come away thinking it's shit. But then I read a different book called The Fifth Wave. That was it. So I read The Fifth Wave this month, so in October, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I actually rewatched the film as a result of reading The Fifth Wave, and I really enjoyed the film as well. I know the film got panned really badly. I know it was hyped to be a total rip-off of The Hunger Games and the Insurgent type books, but actually I found it was very different and I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed the writing style. It was clever. The author's called Rick Yancey. Very clever, very well done. And when I am allowed to buy books again, I probably will go and buy the others because I thought they were I was intrigued. I wanted to see what happened next, basically. And that finishes my November TBR. The books that I have talked about are Waypoints by Sam Heughan, Pandora by Susan Stokes-Chapman, Lost Acre by Andrew Caldecott, The Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth, The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, Giver by Lois, Lowry, and The Territory by Sarah Govett. I hope to read all of these. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 seems realistic for me at the moment. Hopefully I'll get through all of them. Maybe there might be a few bonus books. We'll see how we go. If anyone's read any of them or excited to hear what I think, let me know what you want me to review. If not, I'll just do a wrap up at the end of November of my thoughts generally about them. I know that I talk a lot, so if I do a review, it'll probably be about something that I really loved or I thought was shit, like The Shadow in the Glass. I hope to see you all again soon. That is another episode of LJ Lit Reader, and I am out. Bye-bye.